So tonight, we want to welcome everybody again to this second session of Life with Bevan, where we delve into the questions, what is life? I said before you, life and death, choose life. What does this life involve? And how do we navigate life? You know, I'm sure many of us, many of you viewing tonight, have met people in life that says, especially in difficult circumstances, you'll hear people say, this is life. It is life. But I'm sure there are many of us that can testify to the fact that surely there is more to life. Life is more than just waking up every morning, doing the mundane. So that's our purpose tonight as we explore further with a special guest, somebody, if I must calculate, somebody I've known for about 28, 29, no, 32 years. 32 years, you know. Yeah. He was my teacher, what is now grade 11, standard 9 at the time. And I so fondly remember one of the things he used to say to us. He used to say to us in class, and that was one of his life tips. And it's amazing, 32 years later, it seems like it was yesterday. He used to say to us, when it comes to friendship, he used to say, my mother used to say, friendship is a two-way stream. You know, and that's something I've kept in my heart for all these years. And I'm looking forward tonight to speaking to Mr. Theron. Many call him Mr. Theron. Others call him Herbie. Others call him Day. I'm sure others call him Booty. Others call him Brother Herbie. An educated man, both spiritually. He's been in the education field for many years. And we have the opportunity to speaking to him tonight. So I want to welcome you, Mr. Theron. And I want to say thank you for allowing us the time to speak to you tonight concerning this very essential topic, what is life? So you've been in the education field. I remember at one stage, I think if memory serves me right, you were a teacher in Botswana as well. You taught primary school, high school. Before we go into the questions tonight, you know, people read the short bio on Facebook. Will you just take a couple of minutes and say to us tonight, Herbert William Theron, who is this man?
Oh, all right. I was very fortunate in the sense that my parents were both teachers.
Okay.
And it seems like teaching is in our blood. We were 7 siblings, and 4 of them became teachers and 2 social workers.
Okay.
My parents were both teachers. I have 5 aunts that are teachers. I have 2 uncles that are teachers.
Okay.
I have about 7 cousins that are teachers. So it's like it's in our DNA.
Certainly.
We sort of just have one career and one profession in our lives, and that is teaching.
Okay.
I was very fortunate that I could go to a college called Dawa Training College, which was in PE, where I completed my teacher's course. And then my first year, I started teaching at A.W. Barnes. And then I went from A.W. Barnes to a school called Pefferville Primary School in Pefferville, where most of my teaching experience was picked up, where I learned about the community, where I learned about caring. I was there for 11 years, and then I was asked to move up to Greenpoint, where I was for 9 years.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate. When I got to Greenpoint, I was the HOD of Afrikaans, and then later became the junior deputy principal at Greenpoint. And then I had an opportunity to go to Botswana, which I did. I was there for 4 years. Came back to Johannesburg, and I've been living in Johannesburg now for most probably the past 20 years, I think it is. But who is Herbie? Herbie is I was very privileged, one of those that were privileged. I grew up very privileged. Had a plate of food every day of my life, had a roof over my head, we had cars. You know, we were very, very fortunate. And if I look back, it was because we were blessed. You know, I had a mom who was a prayer warrior, who prayed for children, who set the example. My dad was a good provider, took care of us, built us a beautiful house in East London, and
East London.
never forget that exciting part. That house is still in Melbourne Road, 32 Melbourne Road.
Yeah.
Every time I go to East London, I pass there. But
Okay.
in a nutshell, I went to I did my studies part-time at the University of Forte, where I got a BA degree. And then I did BEd at the University of the Western Cape. And that's where I got stuck. I'm actually very sorry I didn't study further and do my master's. It's still a dream at my age to do my master's. But that in a nutshell, well, it's not more than a nutshell, but that is who I am. You know, I have obviously been taught a lot of lessons in life, because if we need to define what is life, each of us will have a different definition, because no one's lives are the same. Not my sisters, not my brother, none of us. So if we should go down and we should say, this is the definition of life, it will not be the same. Yours won't be the same as mine. People have tried to define life. You know, people have searched and they did a lot of research on what is life. But life is basically your experience. Now, some time ago, I read a little piece, and I think I've put it on Facebook some time ago. It says, cry yourself a river, build a bridge, and get over it. What does that mean? It simply means that life is not a bed of roses. It's not every day, it's laughing and joy. And no, there are times that things are really, really tough. You know, being at no finances, no food, no job, whatever. And this one talks about being broken, you know, and you can only really cry when things are really, really bad and you're sad. But when they say build a bridge, it means you need to start working on that pain. You need to start working on that hurt. You need to do something about it. Look, it's good to go sit in a corner for a day or two and cry your heart out, but you need to get up. You need to get up and you need to dust yourself. Now, I don't know if you've read some time ago on Facebook, after the matric results, there's been a tendency for children to commit suicide because they failed matric.
Yes, remember that.
So I wrote about my life. When I failed matric. You know, I failed matric, and I felt terrible because my name wasn't in the newspaper. My parents didn't come and shout at me or whatever. All they said is that you go and register to go and write those subjects you failed, which was maths, and if I remember, it was maths and history. And irony is, my second majors in my BA is history. I've got history 1 and history 2.
Okay.
You know, but I failed history in matric. And I did well when I was studying history. So what happened, Bevan, was I went to write. I remember walking in, John Bissaka was newly built, and there was this hall, and all the children were sitting there, all the matriculants, because I had to go rewrite. And as I walked in, I heard them saying to each other, Mr. Theron doesn't have matric. Mr. Theron never passed, you know. So I went and I rewrote, and I passed, you know, and that is how my life started. Because then I registered at Fort Hare, got my BA degree, and years later I registered at it. So you have to get up and dust yourself off. I am where I am because of two kinds of motivations. One was from outside, which is not so important, but I had the support of my parents, I had the support of my siblings, I even had support from the church.
Wow.
But the best motivation is the one that comes from the inside. It must come here from the inside. When people look at you and say you won't make it, or people say you're no good,
For
you
sure.
say to yourself, you don't know me. You don't have a clue what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm dealing with, but me, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make a success of my life. I'm gonna make a success of my business. I'm gonna make a success of my career. I'm gonna make a success of my education, because that motivation comes from the inside. Yes, when you're small, you need your parents' motivation. They have to watch that you sit and study. But surely to goodness, when you hit matric, when you hit university, when you hit technicon, you can no longer be woken up by your mom and your dad and say, please get up and go study. It's things you need to do yourself. When you hit college, when you hit university, or when you go to a technicon, wherever you go and you're going to study, your parents are not there to wake you up. You need to get up and you need to study. So eventually, the motivation from outside starts from inside now, because you have to make a success of your life. And the people who are listening to this, they need to know that you have to change from relying on people to motivate you to motivation that comes from the inside. So once you've cried yourself a river, once you've built a bridge, you need to cross it, and you need to start afresh. So for me, it's about being able to get up and dust yourself and make a success of your life. Because we look down at people who doesn't make a success of their life, of their lives. We look at them and we say, but this person was with me at school. Look what he looks like. Now, the other thing is, what's important, Bevan, are the choices you make. I never smoked in my life, but it doesn't mean I wasn't offered cigarettes. I never had liquor over, but it doesn't mean I wasn't offered a glass of wine or whatever.
Okay.
And it was just a choice that I made not to smoke one day, not to drink one day. All right. Now, you know what people say, oh, you're drunky, or you don't smoke, you don't drink, so there must be something else that you do.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Let's leave it there, let's leave it there.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So it's important for us. It's really, really important for us to make the right choices in life. I've been teaching grade 7 class now for the past 8.5 years. I retired at the beginning of January. For the past 8 years, I've been teaching grade 7s. And I know they're at an age where they're starting to get interested in boys, and boys get interested in girls, And I would sit down with them and not give my Afrikaans lesson or give my creative arts lesson. I would sit and I would talk to them like a father would talk to his children. And I would say to them, your father, your mother, your granny, your grandfather can't look after you the way you're supposed to look after yourself. So we live in a time where people are getting babies at school. We're living in a time when people leave school. And I said, especially you girls, I'm talking to you like I used to talk to my girls. And my father, my mother used to speak to my sister. Look after yourself. Get a career, do a profession, and do something about your life. Because at the end of the day, you need to say that my life, I've lived my life, and I've sacrificed for the things that I got today. That's what it is about. It's about sacrificing your time. Now, when we study, you don't go into an exam room just to write. There's
Yeah.
preparation. We have sleepless nights. We get up early in the morning. We go to bed late. Saturdays, when the others are having parties and they're enjoying themselves, we're sitting and studying. Sundays, immediately after church. Now, we were not allowed not to go to church. So immediately after
No
church,
choice.
yeah, immediately after church, we had to sit and study because on Monday we're writing a test or or we have to complete an assignment. So when people look at you and they see the car you're driving and the house you're living in, they don't realize how hard you've worked in life to get there. How many nights, not actually just nights, weeks and months you've sacrificed to get where you are. You know, it's not, it doesn't fall in your lap. Nobody who's got a certificate, who's got a diploma, who's got a degree, who's got a master's, none of them, it just fell in their laps. Now, I heard the story about you can apply for these things on computer and you can get a doctorate. I don't know how true that is, but it doesn't happen to us. You know, here in South Africa, we work hard to get where we are. We sacrifice. And that is what life is. It's about sacrificing. Sacrificing your time, sacrificing the pleasure to get where you want to be. Right, now, there are three things in life that's important. Three important things. One is nature. Right? We have to have
You said
respect for
nature.
Nature. You have to have respect for nature. We know the saying that everything is for a season. And we know our seasons work, you know. And we know why there are seasons. And life is like that. In our lives, nothing is permanent.
I love
nothing
that.
on this earth is permanent. There's no guarantees in life. You can ask anyone. There's no guarantees in life. So what do I mean that you have to respect nature. You have to look after what God has created. You have to take care. Being the man of my house, I see to the maintenance of the house. I make sure that the cracked window is replaced. I make sure that the system in the bathroom, in the toilet is working. I am the man in the house that needs to take responsibility for the things in the house. And that is all part of life, to restore, to fix, to maintain. Because if you if I don't do that, this house will go to ruins. There will be nothing but nothing left in this house. So the second thing that's important in life are your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, the people in the church, the people in your environment, the people are involved with you. And what do we do with them? We give them the greatest respect. You know, what I've learned late in my life, you know, if you respect the children that you teach, the children have the greatest respect for you. If you love the children in your class, they love you back. If you take care of them, and love, like you know, is a practical thing. You know, I can't stand in front of my class and say, I love you. And they don't see it. Because I don't care about them. I don't care if they've got something to eat, if they are warm, if they're comfortable. Those who can't see properly or from the board, are they sitting at the back? I move them to the front. They're small little things.
Small things.
I mean, you can see on a winter's day, a child that only comes with a shirt to school. You know, and you ask the child, baby, where is your jersey? I don't have. And then you just leave it like that. That's not love. Love is making a plan to get the child a jersey. Now, just a secret between you and I, and this is going to go public, I know. Every year in my class, every year, I choose the poorest of the poorest. I find out from the other children, I look, and they will say to me, sir, Tom and Tabo are the poor children. They don't always have food to eat. They don't have clothes. And I take them under my wing. My family doesn't know. My colleagues doesn't know. Nobody knows. I take them under my wing. And when they need money, I give them. If they need socks, I buy it for them. If they need underwear, I get it for them. You know, and it's not something that I go public with, that I went public with. Now I'm going public with it, but I never used to do it. So every year there would be a child, and you know what is the beautiful thing is, many years later, those children come back, and they say, Mr. Theron, we will never forget what you did for us. And this is what I say to them. I say, you know what? When it's your turn to be kind to somebody, please do that.
Wow.
I'm grateful for your thank you. I'm grateful for that. But it should pass, kindness should be passed on. It shouldn't be just a receiving thing, but it should be passed on to the next person. Right. Now, you know me very well because we didn't live far from each other, and we sort of went to the same kind of churches.
Yes.
So obviously, the most important person in our lives is God, right? And I'm not here to preach to anyone about God, but this is what I want to say. God has a plan for everyone. There's not a plan B. There's no plan B with. For me, living for God means simply that I have an abundance of life. Now, what does that mean? It means that it doesn't matter what my circumstances are, how tough things are, God will provide. Because I have personal experience of how God has provided for me over the years. You know, we have, it's almost like you have an agreement with God. God, I'll be faithful to you. You will be faithful to me. I will serve you. You will serve me. It's just an amazing, everybody knows that a lot of people have got a very poor image of themselves. They question their self-worth. But you know what the church teaches is that God has a purpose for you in your life. And it doesn't matter what happens in your life, that purpose will be fulfilled. I never thought that I'll be sitting here today with you. Never in my life did I dream that I will have my own house one day, that I'll have my own car, that I'll have a wife, and that I will have beautiful children and grandchildren, because all I did all my life was to serve God. And in serving Him, the blessings multiplied. You know, it just multiplied. Now, I believe this, and I don't know what other people believe, but I believe God has given all of us an assignment. You know, and that assignment is what you are talking today, is life.
It's life.
And that life, you live it every day of your life. Sometimes you go to bed sad, sometimes you go to bed happy, sometimes you go to bed upset, sometimes you go to bed rejoicing. That's life.
That's okay.
But through all that foundation, God is taking care of you. He's taking care of your needs. He's taking care of your life. He's protecting you. He's guiding you. He's helping you. And I don't care much about what other people say about God. But this is what I know. This is what I genuinely know. Is that God helps us. He really does. And when we're in trouble, when we need protection, when we need guidance, when we need wisdom, God gives that to us. Now, I'm going to end our conversation. I know I can start speaking and I'll talk for the next 10, 20
Wow.
minutes, but I'm going to stop. And I just want to go through things that life has taught me. Is that all right?
That's fine. You know, I'm sitting here not because I want to be quiet, but I'm sitting here and just listening and admiring the words of wisdom. The words of wisdom that that's how I know you. I knew you like you're still here, but over all these years, words of wisdom. So I'm not going to stop you. Continue.
Yeah, but I want you to have a look once we're done and say to yourself, hey, you talk, you can talk, but let me just give you a few of my life lessons. The first one is time flies. Time flies. I never thought that I would reach the age of 65 and that I would retire one day. And I would have planned my life much better if I realized that one day I'll be 65 and I'll be retiring. So even though it feels like when you're at primary school, it's taking so long for you to get to high school, and when you're at high school, it takes so long for you to get to university, and when you're at university, it takes so long for you to get a job, and when you get a job, it takes so long for you to get married, to get your own house, to get your own car. Everything seems to take so long. Now, I've been teaching for 43 years, you know, and I've been looking back over the 43 years, what have I done? And then I realized time caught up with me. It actually overtook me, you know. So you have to plan from a very early stage in your life. If you're 30, 40, you need to start planning so that when you retire at the age of 65 or 60 or 70, that you have everything in place. The second thing is try and buy cash. Whatever you buy, try to buy it cash. Save up and buy it. You know, it's amazing how many people live in debt. It's amazing how many people can't sleep at night because of debt. It's amazing even now during the lockdown, how tough it has been for people because of debt. And you know, when you start off in life, you know, after matric and after studying, you start earning. You will be surprised at the pressure around you to buy on credit, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a fridge, you know, everything must be bought on credit. Where if you work for 3-4 years and you save up, 6 months you save, you buy yourself a fridge. 6 months you save up, you buy yourself a microwave. I would encourage people to buy their stuff if possible, buy it cash. If you want to buy a house, I would prefer that you don't rent, but you go into and buy your own place. Whether it's a small 2-bedroom place, as long as it's registered in your name. You know, property is important. To have your own property is life, you know, because you have a place, you've got a safe place to go to, and try and pay that place off as soon as possible, so that you're not at the age of 60, you're still paying your house, you're 50. Because if you start working at the age of 25, surely to goodness, within 25 years, your property must be paid up, you know. Thirdly, your health. Your health is your greatest asset. You know, I've looked after myself. I was really, really fortunate, but I've looked after myself. And when I reached the age of 40, the doctor said to me, you know, Mr. Theron, we'll have to put you on chronic medication for high blood pressure. And he did that. And there wasn't a day up to today that I didn't take that medication. Simply because I knew that if I don't, I will get sick. So I've looked after my health. And like I told you earlier, I was also one of those fortunate guys that didn't smoke or drink, you know,
Okay.
and did drugs and wasted my life. I tried to live as healthy as possible. And at the age of 65, I'm quite healthy, you know. So if at a young age you realize that your health is your greatest asset, you will look after yourself.
Mm.
Fourthly, and this is uh, um, this you have to make time for, is to plant your own veggies. Get a garden, have a veggie patch, plant your own veggies, plant your own flowers. Get this
Okay.
place and plant. Um, even plant fruit trees. You know, there's nothing more relaxing than seeing your plants growing and then
Okay.
reaping your cabbage, reaping your
Mm.
pumpkin, because it's just amazing. And I'm surprised at how many people doesn't plant. You know, do you plant? Do you have a place to plant?
Where I am at this stage, there's no place to plant.
Yeah, we'll make a plan. There are
Uh,
many ways, but make a plan, Bevan. Even
concrete
if it's in a
jungle.
box, you must have your
Okay.
own plants. Uh, I said earlier, everything is for a season. Nothing is
Mm.
permanent. Your, your life is a season. Heartache is for a season. Joy is for a season.
Mm.
That is life. You know, I know people believe in the 80-20 thing. 80% of the time you're going to be happy, and 20% of the time give you an allowance to be sad or whatever.
Mm.
I know people who've been sad their whole life. You know, I know people that it doesn't matter how sad things are, they're happy. You know, that depends
Mm.
on you. But remember, everything is for a season. Nothing lasts. There's no guarantees. And if you have that balance, you're fine. Then love your family. You know, look, you know the saying, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your
Can't
family.
choose your family.
And we have funny people in our family. You know, we have people that's amazingly funny. We have people in our family that's difficult. You know, we have people in our family that we would love to get rid of, but we can't because they are blood, and you need to love them.
Yeah.
Love them no
Okay.
matter what. Just love them. Uh, be on good footing with your neighbors. Don't be bad friends. You don't have to go visit your neighbor every 5 minutes, but have a good relationship. Greet them. You know, in Joburg, I heard yeah, that people don't greet. You can go to my neighbors, they will tell you, we know Mr. Theron. You can go to all four neighbors, they will tell you, no, those Therons, we know them. And when there's trouble,
Okay.
they hear first, you know.
Mm.
Uh, um, so be on a good footing with your neighbors. That's number 7. Number 8, help without expecting anything in return. Because this is where you get hurt. I help you, I expect you tomorrow to help me, and then you can't,
Mm.
you don't, or you won't, and then I feel, oh, what? No.
No.
When you help somebody, you do it without any expectation. Just help, finish and clear, right? If you're in a position to help somebody, help. Now, my children will tell you, I will give my last to help somebody, you know. I believe I'm blessed to bless others, you know. So
Amen.
you if you're in a position now, you know, now during the lockdown, basically almost every day there's somebody at the gate asking, asking for something to eat, asking for money. And we've gone so far in our household to cook extra so that if there's somebody at the gate, we can give food. We might not be able to give our groceries, but we can, you know. We have orders, we give them a bottle of orders, and we give them some food. But we do that because we don't expect anything in return from
In
them.
return.
Now, this is the 2 things that I live on. If I'm kind to somebody, I forget about it. If you come and you knock at my door and you say to me, Mr. Theron, my car is stuck, will you help me? Whether it's in the middle of the night, in the early hours of the morning, I will get up and I will go and help you. Right? But I will not remember that. I will not say 5 years later, oh, I know, you know what, Bevan, he came and he knocked at my door, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I went to go and help him. No, if you talk to me 2 or 3 weeks later and you say to me, you remember me, Mr. You remember helping me? And then I say, I really don't remember. Because I have done it psychologically that, you know, when I'm kind to somebody, it's over and done with. I do not carry that.
Okay.
But if you are kind to me, I will never forget that. I actually have a list of people that has been kind to me over the years. People in the church in East London, the community people in East London. I know, and sometimes I write them a little note. I send them a little WhatsApp and I say, I will never forget you give me a lift to church every time. I will never forget you giving me a lift to school. Those are the kinds of things that I will not forget. I have my list. And all right, it's not a perfect list because I can't remember. But people has been kind to me. And sometimes when I see a person, then I say, oh, here's Mr. Bouters. He used to pick me up after school. You know,
okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I will never forget. And I ask God every day to remind me of the people that has been kind to me. So those are the 2 things that I live by. When I'm kind to somebody, I forget about it. When somebody is kind to me, I never forget that.
Never forget.
I never forget that. Then the last one, which is number 10, all right, is respect goes a long way.
For sure.
Our parents taught us to respect. My father, I don't know if you remember in the olden days, they used to call the gardener the boy.
I remember.
The boy.
I remember.
Our boy is here, you know.
Mm.
We were never allowed to say that. Never, never, never. If the gardener was older than us, we had to say Madala, or we had to say uncle, or we had to say, but we couldn't call him on his name.
Mm.
We were not allowed. That is what my father taught us. My father taught us never, ever to look down on the lady who makes the tea at school or who works in our house. And we had to call them all auntie. We were not allowed to call them on their names. We were not allowed to call them the girl. Never. We
Never.
had to say auntie. So my father took us from ignorance to knowledge, where the person who does the meanest of jobs in our home, at the school, at our workplace, in our community, they must be appreciated. And how do you appreciate them? By respecting them.
Yes.
I remember getting a hiding. I must have been about 12 or 13 years old.
Must have been a good one.
Yeah. I remember I went to the shop and there was one of the teachers that had a little bit too much to drink, you know, and I came home and I told my mother, I said, you know what, Mr. So-and-so is so drunk at the shop. And we were all teasing him and pulling him around. My mother said, what? What did you do? And then I realized I've made a mistake. I should have just kept quiet. She took me in the room and she gave me a hiding. She said, whether that sir was sober or drunk, you respect him. So you don't respect him because he's sober. And you don't respect him because he's drunk. You have to respect him all the time. So I am now respected, and you know that. I'm respected in East London. I'm respected at church. I'm respected all over. Not because I force people to respect, it's because I respected them. And my life has been a very simple life. Nothing wonderful or outstanding. But it's been what has been implanted in our lives and in our hearts by our parents. I know your parents. I knew what kind of people they were. And you're a product, you, Bevan, product of those parents who has taught you about life.
Thank you, sir.
And who has taught you to respect people, to value your property, to look after yourself. I'm looking at you, nice, cleanly shaved. Hair there's no hair anymore because it's all been shaved off. I'm looking at you and I'm saying you were taught to be neat and tidy by your parents. So you will carry that over to your children. The values that your parents taught you, you will carry that over to your children. The respect for your colleagues, for your neighbors, for your family, you will continue with that because that is what your parents taught you. And I am carrying, still up to date, I still carry the stuff my mom taught me. I still carry the stuff that my father taught me because they knew what life was all about. And that is it. Life wants to be lived, but you have to take care of yourself. You have to value life. You have to value the lives of others. Now let me tell you the final story before I go off. I had a Audi 500. I don't know if you remember that car. It was a golden Audi 500.
Okay.
And one day I was traveling with my granny, my mom, and my grandfather. You know, and being young and irresponsible, I've been driving very, very fast. You know, I've been driving. Most probably that time was miles per hour. So I was doing 160 miles per hour, 140 miles per hour. Or was it well, it was 180 to 200 kilometers an hour. And I was enjoying myself driving like this maniac. Then my granny and my mom needed the bathroom. So we pulled off at the garage and they went in. So I asked my grandfather, because he was sitting in front, and I asked him, does he need the bathroom? He said, no. But he said, I need to tell you something. He says to me, he says, do you know that you have your mother's life, your granny's life, and my life in your hands? Do you know that? So I said, what do you mean, Dad? And he said, the way you are driving is like you don't realize that our lives are in your hands. You need, when people get in your car, he says to me, remember, their lives are in your hands. You're sitting behind the wheel, you take responsibility for their lives. So I was taught that when people are your responsibility, you need to take good care of them, not only in the car, in the house, at work, wherever people fall under your responsibility, you need to take care of them. So when you drive again with your family, Bevan, no speeding.
No speed.
Keep the speed limit. Look after them. I always say to myself, I can drive like a maniac when I'm alone, but not with my family in it. All right?
Okay.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity, Gavin, that I could share a little bit of my life with you. All right. I hope you enjoyed it, and that it wasn't like an interview, but it was more like a chat.
No, I've been listening, and I want to say thank you to you, Mr. Theron. You know, I've been making notes here, and there's certain things that just kept on popping up. Embrace life. Whether you're in the valley, whether you're on the mountain, embrace life. You also touched on, the importance of having a support structure. And that just links to what we spoke about on Monday as well. Many times we don't realize how interconnected we are.
Yeah.
Whether it's in church, whether it's in society, no man is an island. And the good book that we both read from, teaches us these principles. You didn't go about mentioning scripture and all these things, but the principles, as I'm listening to you, can clearly be linked to your spiritual background.
Yeah.
Value others, respect others, care for others, maintaining that which is entrusted to you, good stewardship.
Yeah.
Looking after those things that's yours, but also people that's entrusted to you.
Yeah.
Because we are all interconnected. And just listening to you, the practical tips that you give and gave to navigate life. I want to thank you for making the time to share with us. These recordings are there, and I'm sure years from now we'll be able to look again and just reflect what was said on that day, on that particular time. And I really just want to thank you for sharing the practical tips, because one of the things many times we wonder about in life is there must be more to life. There must be more meaning to life, than just getting up and doing the mundane. Breaking away from mediocrity. You've touched on everything, and I just want to say thank you for the practical tips. The one thing I wrote big on my page here as well that you touched, hope. Don't give up. No matter what you go through in life, don't give up. Somebody, when I was still a student at what used to be Pentec, one of my friends, they used to say, you know what, you need to learn to be patient with yourself because God is patient with you, but you also need to learn to be patient with others. And it just brings me back to the fact, if we read, you can only give what you have. And just listening to you, like I say, the practical tip certainly comes from a balanced life that you could share so freely. And I just want to say thank you for taking out the time to share with us tonight. I'm sure many lives will be changed, many lives will be encouraged. Somebody might be looking at this tonight, sitting with this question, is it worthwhile carrying on? And I'm sure after listening to you tonight, they'll change direction, they'll change their minds, and they'll realize life certainly is worth living. And I once again just want to say thank you. I wish you all the best. Enjoy your retirement, enjoy your family, children, grandchildren. Enjoy life. You've certainly enjoyed it up till now, so I just want to say thank you and enjoy life.
Bevan, can I just read something that I wrote down?
Certainly do. Certainly do.
Ended with that. God doesn't have a plan A or a plan B over your life and my life. Before you were even formed, God already had a plan and a purpose for your life, and that plan is sealed. It is a plan that will not change because of the economy. It will not change because you failed or disappointed God. It will not change because of circumstances, but it will stand till the very end. All right?
Wow.
So whatever plans God has for you, it will work out.
It will work. There you have it, family. Like they say, straight from the horse's mouth. No accidents. You are not an accident. Keep safe. Take care. Till we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kev. And
thank you, sir.
You and your family be blessed. And
thank
be safe in Joburg and be safe during the lockdown.
Thank you, sir.
All right.